Welcome to Fake Nerds Watch Watchmen Episode 6, where we're going on the biggest nostalgia trip of your freaking life.
Let's get twisted.
Yeah, because we're not going to your memories. Nope. We're going to Will Reeves' memories.
Going to
we're going to see his entire life unfold in front of your very
100
eyes.
years, a whole century.
Yeah.
Right, that's the word.
We really just cover a pocket of that century.
Yeah.
And then jump to
and
the
then
present.
jump.
That's
to the
true.
right.
It's like 1920, 1950,
with like
2019.
pieces of what we've seen hinted at about his life before.
Yes.
But welcome to Episode 6 of Fake Nerds Watchmen. I know I said that already, but here we are, another great episode of Watchmen. Sorry, I totally hit your knee right there.
It's okay.
And I'm Ben Magnet. This is Ryan Eliopoulos. That's Sparks Witty. And
This episode was radical, guys.
so
they're all radical.
What's the title?
Minutemen.
No,
that's the
That was the cool
that
opening
was,
intro.
that's what,
It's
but the
This
title
Extraordinary
is,
Being.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The title is This Extraordinary Being, but as every episode of Watchmen has done up to this point, they've incorporated the name Watchmen into some way, be it on top of a radio, be it like eggs, be it something.
reflected on a mirror.
Reflected on a mirror.
Be
Just be
it like eggs.
There was like eggs.
No, I know.
Weird.
It's just a funny
It was
sentence.
something. But this time, it was just Watchmen on a black screen, and then we see a whoosh, like a whoosh, and then...
Like somebody blowing smoke.
Yeah, like someone blowing smoke, and then Minutemen.
Yep. All in purple.
Yeah, which I'm like, well, okay.
And then
already, this show's always got me in the first few seconds of the episode, but just from the damn title card, I'm like, I'm in.
So, this extraordinary being, it's referencing something that Hollis Mason called him in his book. He called the Hooded Justice an extraordinary being. But also, and this is not me because I'm not smart enough to know this, but somebody said that it also could be a reference to Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because in that book he's also described as an extraordinary being, and he also hides away like the Hooded Justice hides away. And that could just be some poetic mumbo jumbo. But this whole show has lots of metaphors and allegories and all these things, so it could be all that stuff.
It's up the wazoo.
Yes.
And holy crap. So, yeah, this episode is damn good.
Angela is tripping, man. Oh my gosh.
She's tripping balls.
I think the best way to start talking about this episode is just how well shot the whole episode is.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys like Birdman?
I like the way Birdman was shot.
Yes. That is a one-shot type of movie, and that's how this episode was pretty much almost all one shot.
Almost all.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah.
Few exceptions.
Yes. But it's you are weaving in and out of Will's memories. And it's seamless. And obviously you can tell when there's edits and stuff.
Well, the episode starts off with American Hero Story.
Yes.
I mean, right after
Zack Snyder's American Hero Story.
I mean, right after we get the Minutemen whoosh, we get Hooded Justice at interrogation room with two cops, and they're asking him, like,
God, I love those cops.
Yeah.
Sex stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're interrogating him. They're trying to figure out who he is under the hood.
Like they're quintessential like 1950s cops.
Yeah. And well, apparently they're not just cops; they're FBI agents.
Oh, right,
because they mentioned
Hoover.
Director J. Edgar Hoover,
who may or may not have been doing things with a certain somebody.
Yeah,
Captain Metropolis.
Captain Metropolis, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we know that dude gets around, I guess.
Yeah, apparently.
But yeah, it's the American crime story. What's it called?
American Hero
Story, and he's like, hey, we gotta take a picture of you, or we're gonna tell the whole world that you're gay, and nobody likes gay people, so like you gotta do this, right?
Especially back in the 50s, where homosexuality was looked down upon hard.
Yeah, like you don't want your Minutemen friends to look down on you, right? So like, take your mask off, and we're gonna blackmail you.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a picture. We don't need a name. We just need to see what you look like. So we see the actor playing Hooded Justice in this show,
who was in American Horror Story.
Oh, he was?
Yes, he's in that show.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
It 100% makes sense, and it's hilarious.
I mean, I don't watch American Horror Story, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, right when they're about to take a picture, he punches the guy with the camera, kicks a whole lot of ass, apparently kills him, because we hear this narration afterwards that he killed two cops, then the guy playing Captain Metropolis, what was his name?
The Nelson Gardner?
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
He's like, I know that Nelson's cheating on me. And it goes and then it pans out, we see Tulsa cops watching it, and here comes Lloyd Blake telling him to turn that shit off.
Oh yeah, and like half the squadron? What the hell? Half the squad is like watching it on all their tiny TVs.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's like 2019, but they still got little CRTVs. That's fantastic.
Do you guys think that altercation with the FBI agents happened?
Yeah.
But with Will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think judging from this whole episode, like a lot of the things that are presented in this show happen, but just like to the extent they happened or the truth of it is foggy. But like I think the things we're seeing in the fake show are,
according to Petey, that show is trash and full with tons of historical
it
inaccuracies.
is, but everything we've seen in that show has happened in some way in the real version that we see in this episode.
Yeah,
because
right.
like we'll talk about it later. But
talk about it later.
Like his big like Hooded Justice fighting those guys in like the first or second episode. That's what happens in this episode.
You're right.
But the real version of it, and instead of it being like, oh, he stopped a robbery,
yeah.
he's actually stopping Klansmen, but they don't want the cops involved.
I'll put it this way: here's why I don't think that altercation necessarily happened, at least not the way we see it.
Well, yeah.
Is because if it did, the agents were killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't do that.
So that doesn't track with what we've known of Will.
Yeah.
And also, it would imply that the entire thing can be fabricated because the only person who could have been in that room is Hooded Justice, and he's not the person telling this story. So I kind of lean towards I don't think it necessarily happened.
Well, I mean,
I wonder if this is kind of a bridge into the narrative that implies that person who's found at the beginning of the show, the American Hero Story show. This is where the show splits off to try and say how that's who he is.
Okay.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, okay.
Is that I think that this is where we're starting to see like the falsitude, and I think that was part of the point. Is like just by revealing the white face, is kind of telling the audience like this is not true.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like this, I don't think this actually happened.
It's like, hey, you see all of this? Yeah, that's not real.
Oh yeah, because like I guess if it was Will and his mask was revealed,
because at the time period where this would have taken place, if the FBI knew that Hooded Justice was really a black man, I don't think that scene would have gone down that way.
Nope.
Yeah, you're right.
A black man pretending to be a white hero, I don't think it happened.
Yeah. I can believe that.
Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because it was something I was thinking about. I'm like, I think this was the first one where like this is totally
because pretty much all the other ones are pretty much true.
Right.
The
other
other
than the
ones,
question of like the who is Hooded Justice and is he the dead guy from the beginning?
Like the other ones, they have some truth to them, but of course they're not the whole story.
Yeah.
Right.
Because obviously no one knows who Hooded Justice really was. I mean, we do, but
because that's the thing. It's like they imply that the FBI agents not only knew who he was, like if two of them knew, then more people in the FBI
they also knew like who the other heroes
and they
were.
Obviously didn't because nobody knew Hooded Justice was a black guy.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay.
Anyway, Laurie Blake's doing her thing.
Yeah, Laurie Blake is trying to get Angela a stomach pump, but she can't because Angela won't sign a form, and she is tripping hard.
Angela can't sign the form.
Yeah, I think she's too far gone.
Oh, she's gone.
And like it's really cool the effect of like the color starts to like fade out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And she's like, "Oh my God, you're already too far in, aren't you, Angela? Oh, this is bad news."
Yeah.
But she's like locked up in a cell.
She's convinced Angela's gonna die because she's immediately asking like, "Do you know where your grandpa is?
Yeah.
I need the important information out of you now."
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's in Wikipedia again confirms that in Angela's sleep she was saying his name. She was saying Will Reeves is Hooded Justice. So the cops now know. So Laurie knows. So that's why she's so pressed to be like, I need to know where your grandfather is right now.
So in Angela's
well,
sleep,
but not in the opening, right? Because she wasn't asleep yet. We're talking when she's
okay. Yeah, maybe later. Okay,
but later on she does spill the beans that Will is Hooded Justice.
Yes.
Oh, that is.
Yes. She can't help it. She's in psychosis, right?
She's drugged. She is super drugged.
But this whole episode, like once it gets into the memories, like it's so seamless and so awesome. And again, Birdman asks where there's just like there's music from the 1920s happening in the 1950s. The memory fusion is so cool. It's
not
such a
just
cool
that,
effect.
we constantly see Will's mom playing the piano.
Uh-huh.
That's what I mean from like 20.
And she's in full color too. But the parts that I love, like I love it when shows like go full color, but when you're in the past, you're doing a flashback. They do a different color style, like black and white. This
was another thing that I brought up while we were watching it. Is that I think that this is why Schindler's List, but Pale Horse was the specific film mentioned in the previous episode because they knew they were doing black and white with splashes of color because that's how Schindler's List is.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was entirely like, yay. We know where we're going with this. Yeah.
So we start the memory with I believe Will getting
he's not getting his badge.
Not getting his badge, but he's at like the cop promotion. I don't know what they call
he's
it,
at the graduation ceremony for the new cadets.
Yeah.
So what that is that he, for those who don't know, that is when you are out of the academy. You are officially a police officer.
You get your badge.
Yeah, that's when you get your badge and become a full-fledged cop.
Yes. So Will's
We've
in
seen
line.
Zootopia.
Oh yeah,
Lord.
Yeah, you've seen Zootopia.
So Will's in line, like in the middle of the line, and
Yeah,
all these cops are before him getting their badges.
He's at the end.
Is he at the end?
of the
Oh,
line.
he's at the end. Okay, sorry.
That's why every white man is getting it before him.
Okay, I thought maybe it was a specific.
I thought he was in the middle too, and he just got skipped.
That's what it looked like to me. Yeah,
It looked like he was. I mean,
Maybe
yes,
I'm
he was
wrong.
close to the end, but there were
Anyway.
like one or two cops in between. Like he was sandwiched
Yeah.
in between one or two cops at the very, very end. But because when the chief of police or when the commissioner, because in New York they call him the commissioner, on the West Side they call him the chief. It's weird, I know. The commissioner is like putting the badges on, skips Will intentionally because he's black.
He's racist.
And then the older black officer does come and says, it looks like the pleasure falls to me to pin this badge on you. And they're talking about why Will joined the police force. He's like, oh, sorry about that. And right before he whispers, beware the Cyclops.
And Will says specifically to this officer, I did this because of you.
Because
that's right, yeah.
that guy, his name is Sergeant Battle. He's an actual real person. He was the first black sergeant in New York City in 1940s and 50s.
That's
so
awesome.
It's not obviously the same guy because he's passed away, but like that's
That's
that
that
person.
character.
But
That's
that,
who he's
that
supposed to be.
historical figure
Yeah, and
is
that
old.
keeps happening in this show. And I'm like, man, that's such a cool thing.
That is.
Like bringing real history.
Like
which,
just,
yes,
hey,
the comic
I
did.
bet you didn't know, but like, this is that guy.
Yeah, and if you see a picture, like I watched a video that put them next to each other, I'm like, damn, that actor looks like that
I
guy.
really like his response too, where he's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, like you got me into this. Like you shouldn't have done it much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I wish you hadn't.
Yeah, but then he whispers, beware the Cyclops. Will's like, what? He says, hey, stay safe, the things that they do when one graduates from the police academy.
Do good and stuff.
Yeah, and it cuts to Will and this lady who...
June. Her name's June.
Thank you, June.
His Lois Lane.
Yep.
So many Superman moments in this episode.
Oh my god, yeah, the Superman moment in this episode.
Multiple.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but like the action comics one.
Yeah.
What was I going? Yeah, they're talking. And June is saying that
She wants to write about him being like the first black police officer in New York City in a while.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of rage.
Yeah.
This is the one thing, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but then I read a bunch of people agree online. He doesn't actually show actual rage ever towards her or his son.
Yeah.
In the episode, like the only time he's actually angry is when he's killing bad people, and they kind of deserve it. And of course, murder's bad, but like he's being a hero.
He's either killing them or beating the shit out of them.
That's the first problem I've had maybe in this entire show. It's like it's not like a nagging thing, but I'm like he never was angry or he never showed like. Of course, he has a right to be angry because he's a black man in New York and stuff like that. But like he never showed me his actual anger that she keeps saying he's showing. I never saw that at all. I never.
Well, I didn't. I never
took
took it. I never took the argument that she was making as that he shows his anger. It's that she knows that's what's in him.
Yeah.
And because that's in him, and he's always suppressing it, he's not emotionally engaged. Now you could also point out that part of that is because he's attracted to men.
Yes.
And that's another part of it. But like what she reads is you're never your full self with me because you're always angry and you're always keeping it in. And that's part of the thing is he tries to deny that he's angry all the time.
Because he's like, he's like, I'm a cop in New York City. Like,
right.
It's like I have no reason to be angry.
And that's part of her thing at the end is she's like, I thought that doing this would help it get out of you, but it's just become the beast you are.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good read. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I always that's how I took it. It's not necessarily that like it's an anger that's directly expressed onto her. It's that she knows that's what's in him.
not even at her. I just mean like you never
in front of her.
You never see him be angry in front of her.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
I would assume he tells her everything that happened. Well, he eventually when he does don the hood, he tells her everything that happens.
He just to me he seems pretty calm and mild mannered for like besides his hooded justice moments, of course.
But I think in every moment with June, he's also checked out. And that's the part of it that she's recognizing is that because you can't be angry with me, you're not anything with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. That is good.
Yeah.
That's actually way more sad too. Yeah.
But so he's having dinner with June, and it's his first night or one of his first nights as a beat cop. He's doing his patrol, and he's also collecting clippings of happenings in Europe. the Nazis.
Oh yeah.
So this takes place in 1938, before the United States entered the war.
Right.
So Nazi Germany is in full power, and there was a newspaper clipping of how the Nazis started moving towards Poland, and they're going westward into France. And as Will is walking around, he sees this guy light up a Molotov candle and chuck it into a Jewish-owned delicatessen.
It's not even just that; it's that he interrupts him before he does it, and he's like, "Hey." And does it anyway.
Yeah.
It's that attitude that I think triggers Will the most.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a different kind of scenario for Will if he busted him and the guy did it in panic and ran, but that's not the attitude.
No, yeah, Fred is just like, hey,
I own the street, who gives a crap?
So this is a fantastic moment. Again, this is not me figuring this out, this is me watching an awesome video that somebody made on the internet.
Sure.
When he
like this one.
When Will stops Fred, he goes, "Stop in the name of the law." Much like the movies he used to watch as a kid.
Right.
When he thought being a policeman was being a superhero.
Which is why he says, "I thought they only said that in the movies."
Which is exactly why he says, "I thought they only said that in the pictures," right?
Yeah.
And then he realizes, like, oh, actually, being a policeman is not being a hero. I need to be a vigilante like Bass Reeves was.
I actually forgot that Will used to watch those.
Yeah.
He will watch those Bass Reeves video or
movies.
Films,
Yeah.
the silent films back in the day. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, this part is especially, I mean, he brings it up later on in the episode, but this part, like when he yells, "Stop in the name of the law," and Fred, the white guy who chucked the Molotov cocktail, turns out like, "Oh, I thought they only said that in pictures," and he just oozes asshole.
Well, because he knows, he's the kingpin.
Yeah,
like
he
knows. Nothing's gonna happen to him. He knows
because he's part of Cyclops.
Yeah,
part of the Cyclops.
So I listened to the official Watchmen podcast with Lindelof and everything, and they confirmed on there that it is the OK symbol. It is intentionally the OK symbol. It is intentionally the acknowledgement of how that has become a white power symbol.
That makes sense.
That was not coincidental. That was... They were going for that specifically.
So just give us a thumbs up now, guys. Don't do the OK symbol anymore. Thumbs up.
Do this.
Just do
two fingers.
Or just
two fingers instead of three.
Just make a heart.
Don't make a W.
Love.
Or
yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah. Knowing's half the battle.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
I wish.
So where do we go from here, my man?
Well, he arrested, like, he's still, Fred is still giving Will shit.
Oh, yes.
He's like, "Oh, I heard they had a rap problem." He's like, "No, I saw you throw a free. You're coming with me." Brings him to precinct, and the cop who behind the desk is like, "What's going on?" He's like, "This man just threw a thing in delicatessen."
Spook. Oh, sorry. Wait, yeah, because he uses the word spook.
Yeah, Fred uses the word spook as a derogatory term
and then
towards Will.
The white officer says, "What did you call our fellow officer?" And we
And
were all
at
like,
first,
"Yeah,
God, we
yeah."
were so happy. That's like, yes,
Dude,
there's not a racist cop in his precinct. Then he does the Cyclops
Because
thing.
God, did you want that so bad?
I wanted
this
so
smug
bad.
piece of crap to talk like that in the precinct and have a white officer go, "I'm sorry, what did you call our fellow officer?"
for five?
That's the dream.
For like
5
5
glorious
seconds.
seconds.
For 5 seconds, I had this headcanon of like, oh my god, this is going to be his new best friend. This is going to be a new character. He's going to be his best friend, and he's going to die for him. And then I'm like, oh, he's a racist too.
He is such a racist.
In fact, he's the leader, if anything.
Oh my god, or at least he's high up in the chain of command.
That's a really good
the
scene.
Second he pulls Fred and the other cop behind the thing is like, "You got this," and he does the Cyclops.
"I got it, don't worry."
He's like, "We got this." I'm like, "Oh
beware the Cyclops."
shit.
Yeah, that was a really
We were like
a roller coaster
so
of emotions.
We were like, yes, there's like there's a white cop who's not a racist, and he's a racist bastard.
Yeah, it was a.
It's like that meme. It's like that meme in South Park. It's like, and he's racist.
Yeah. And it not only is that guy awful, like he's like the worst person maybe on the show.
Oh
like
god, he is.
The things he does later.
I thought Fred was bad for throwing a cocktail
Yeah.
into a delicatessen, a Jewish delicatessen, a Jewish deli. I should just call it that. That's what they are. and he's just like being like, "Oh well, I was just on my walk, and this guy just arrested me for no good reason." You threw a freaking cocktail into a deli, you asshole.
He's racist and he's a jerk and he's also rich, and so he gets out.
Yeah,
and Will's walking like down the street like the next day or whatever.
Yeah, he's off his.
And then Fred's just there, like
First he goes back after he sees Fred on the street.
Yeah,
this is where the Action Comics moment happens.
Okay,
he's learning about the first Action Comics issue, and in the middle of that, Fred pops up,
which came
and
out,
he tips his hat at him. He's like, "Officer,"
which came out in 1938.
Yep.
And he is part of the graduating class in 1938, the NYPD class of 38.
Fun fact. he's not in this episode, but Hollis Mason also graduated from the same exact class of 1938. So that's just a fun Easter egg that I doubt they're going to do anything with. But he was in that class too. It would have been cool.
Neat.
It would have been cool to see him just in the little. Hey, it's me.
Sure.
Be like, hi, my name is Mason, Hollis Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes back, and that's when he talks to the officer who was behind the desk, and he's like, "What happened? Why is that guy out?" And he's like, "Look, man,
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone." And so that's important because that's when Will is walking on the street and they approach him in the vehicle.
Oh,
you want to go ride home?
Yeah, because
that's why Will's like,
Will's out of his uniform. He's off duty.
Let's go get some beers.
Yeah, they're like, hey, let's go get something to drink. And he's like, no, thank you, I'm fine. He's like, you sure? We could get a life home or ride home. Also, we could get some brews. That'd be cool. A couple of cops says. He's like, no, another time, thank you. He keeps walking. He goes down an alley. And the second he turns down an alley, I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well for you, Will. Cops pull up. Come out of the car. He's like, you know what? Another time is just not going to do it. They beat him up. And this is where I'm like, and this is where it starts like, oh, this is the origin story. Because I want to say,
it gets really heavy.
One of these gentlemen right here called it.
Well, to be fair, most of the internet called it. It was a cumulative.
I'll touch on this too. So Lindelof talked about it on the podcast, and he said that a lot of people on the internet were calling it at the first episode, and he's like, and he was like, we did things with the costume design to hint at it, like we picked his colors on purpose and everything.
Well,
and Lindelof said, if we didn't leave the proper clues for you to have figured it out, then we were cheating you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not mad that people figured that out. There are other things that people haven't figured out. And he's like, but I'm not mad people figured that out because I didn't want it to feel like it didn't belong. I know we built up to it right.
Okay.
So like he was like, wow, I was surprised that people got it like that quick, but we did put the clues there.
Okay.
So.
But still, but you guys called it before I ever picked up on it.
Yeah.
And that was like, And like right when this happened, right when so what does happen in the rest of the shot is obviously he's being to a pulp. They put a hood over his head where he can't see, and what we do see is that it's out in the middle of somewhere. There's a tree and a noose is being thrown over a limb.
The only part of the episode where we go to Will's POV.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a first-person lynching, and it's
we totally forgot to mention that in and out this episode, Will and Angela switch.
I was gonna say this is what I was gonna say is that really whose POV we're in isn't just Will's, it's Angela's. Because when we come out of the POV, we're watching Angela for probably the longest time we watch her in Will's flashbacks. That isn't the moment when she's frozen in the window.
Yeah,
that's probably the longest time we watch her being Will is her. Reacting to the hanging,
and it's really heavy. We normally talk like banter here and there, but for 10 solid minutes, it was really heavy. It was a dude getting hanged you see him getting lynched up from his perspective, and I'm like
the way they do the blurring for the
it's so horrific, but it's horrific, and it's like they're doing such a good job of showing why this guy turned out the way he is.
Hearing the breathing and seeing the blurring of the vision for the slow loss of oxygen.
And then I thought something happened to the cops when they let him go, but they just let him go because they couldn't kill him, and they're like, "Don't mess with us again."
They specifically say. Keep your black nose out of white people business.
Yes. For next time, we won't cut you down.
Yeah.
Yes. And he walks home with a noose around his neck, man.
Right.
Yeah.
It's rough. I thought there was something, I don't know what the quality is that they got about it, but something about, usually when you do POV like that, I feel like it comes out at this point looking kind of video gamey, and this still didn't look like a video game. This looked still like the show. I don't know how they achieved that necessarily, but I was surprised that I didn't get...
And not only...
I feel like sometimes those shots can kind of pull you out of it.
And not only that, they did it with the camera was behind the hood. The POV camera was behind the hood. So we still didn't get a clear picture until after Will was cut down.
Right.
And his hood was taken off by white
we do get just before they put the hood on, we do go into the behind his head and slip into the POV in the beat.
Yeah. But
is the racist super evil cop, is that a Bullseye from Daredevil?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
Look it up, because like he has that pointed nose, and like Daredevil season 3 is incredible, and I think Bullseye might be that bad guy, and I'm like, wow, he plays nothing but assholes. That's
Go ahead and vamp and I'll
yeah.
look it up.
But yeah, so he gets cut down, and he's walking home with
he has
the noose around his
the noose is around his neck. He still has rope on his wrists. I mean, he's not completely bound anymore.
Yeah, he got cut, but they're there.
He is in complete and total shock, as one would be, because 3 officers whom he thought were sworn to help him out, they beat him and they nearly killed him, and they tell him they're pretty much wave their "I'm racist" flag super high, and he's walking home in complete shock, and he hears a mugging happening. 2 guys attack a husband and wife duo, and he's just sitting there with the hood still. He still has the hood, and he just somehow has this moment of F it, breaks the hood so he can see through it.
It tears 2 holes in it.
Yeah, it tears 2 holes in it, puts it on, and just beats the crap out of these guys. I don't know if he kills them, but he beats the living shit out of them. And the couple who's being attacked is like, thank you, and he just vanishes. He's like, bye, and just goes away. He goes back to June, and she's like helping him out, and she's like, hey, read this in the paper. What happened? Some hooded figure came out and saved these people.
Hold on. Before that, it's like when he actually gets there, he comes in and he says a really good line, which actually cements the fact that like he is angry, because he's like, you're right. Oh, yeah. He's like, you're right. I am angry. He's like, I'm angry now.
Yeah. He comes home. He does say something along the lines of, "You're right. I am angry," and then goes to sleep.
Yes. But like that was a really really good moment.
It was. It really was.
Yeah. And then June is totally okay with him being a vigilante. Because like, hey man,
she's okay at first.
Yeah. Well, of course at first. I'm like, hey, whatever you got to do to get that anger out, because I know the police aren't doing shit. So he basically starts doing his own thing. And then he inspires a whole nation to become superheroes.
Inspires the Minutemen.
The Minutemen, yeah. Because if it's happening in New York, it's got to be happening.
Well, actually, so his first roundup. Okay.
Woody's roundup.
So bless you.
Thank you.
So his first outing as Hooded Justice officially, he finds and he tracks the cops to Fred's, to that racist Fred, because he says, "I'm going to find that racist son of a bitch."
Yep.
And the racist who got away. And he finds the cops do the Cyclops symbol on the side of Fred's store.
The short answer is no.
Okay, that's all I want. All right, cool.
So he sneaks in. This is him officially, his first thing as Hooded Justice. He sneaks in, finds all the Klan stuff. He finds the Mesrim or whatever, the book. Yeah. The book that essentially tells people how to
hypnotize book.
That. Yeah. And a whole bunch of the Cyclops thing, which is the same Cyclops logo that we see at the 7th Cavalry hideout.
Yep.
Because I saw that Cyclops, I'm like, oh.
It's the Eye of Sauron? Nah, Cyclops, baby.
Yep. It kind of is like the Eye of Sauron if you think about it.
Yep. Which I'd been assuming up to that point was the Eye of the Squid Monster.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
But it's the same logo at the 7th Cavalry hideout.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it could still be. It could be.
They could have meshed it together. Who knows? So, he sees the cops in their Klan uniforms.
Yeah.
Bad move.
And of course, he starts beating them up. They're like, "Who the hell are you?" But before that happens, I totally forgot this. June says they need to think they're getting beat up by one of their own, and she puts makeup around Will's eye area.
So he puts on face paint just like his granddaughter.
So when he puts the mask on, and even the parts of his mask that you can see skin, it looks like he's white.
Yep.
Right.
So that way
clever.
The racists think that they're getting beat up by another white guy instead it's a black guy.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite Angela appearing in these flashback moments?
Let me think.
Because my favorite is there. It's the first time that he's got the white makeup coming on, and she holds up the mirror. And in the mirror that she holds up for him is Angela's face, but he's still in the chair.
Apparently that was also done in camera somehow, too. It wasn't done with, like CGI.
You position someone in the right spot, and you angle the mirror.
That's how pretty much this whole episode was made. It's like a lot of in-camera stuff. And, like, man, again, like...
A lot of intelligent trickery.
Of, like, the camera rotating so, like, actors come in and out of frame. It's, like... It's incredible. I love it.
There are a lot of Birdman.
That might be my favorite.
There are a lot of Birdman style shots. Like one of my favorite shot is when he walks out into the street out of the precinct, and it's like the precinct, but the door is right in the middle of the street. Where he goes to the newspaper guy who's reading Action Comics #1.
Yeah,
and he's telling him about the whole. That's my favorite shot or transition. But my favorite Angelo moment is probably the mirror one.
Yeah,
because you can tell that
one was so good.
I mean, because I felt like they were gonna pull an Angelo moment on that one. And they did, and it just worked.
I kept
because there were times where
I kept making jokes like
where you're like Angela,
because like the first 15, 20 minutes,
to predict it.
The first 15, 20 minutes, like it happened more than once, so I figured it would happen more. But then we took a break.
Every few minutes, you would see like one of my favorite shots is like the camera rotates in it looks like it goes at one fluid moment. I don't know if this was cut or not, but you see June, and then the camera turns around, and there's Angela. It turns around again, and there's Will.
Yeah. That's pretty easy to do in camera.
I thought she was used as sparingly as she needed to be.
Yes,
I never felt like it was too much.
Yes, in the break, I'm glad there was a break because the break she comes back after the lynching, right? That's like when you first see her, she's sitting down at the tree.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite.
And then you have that, and then it goes on another break for a while after the mirror shot that we're talking about.
Yeah, and then Hooded Justice, Will now fully as Hooded Justice, beating up the Klansman. Busts through the other secret door inside Fred's shop, bangs the Klansman's head against the lettuce rack.
Oh man!
What is with lettuce?
Comic book writer Jeff Parker wrote on Twitter like, "God damn it, I'm gonna figure this lettuce thing out, guys." And I'm like, "Please do it, Jeff." I don't know what it means either.
I really hope Lindelof tells us about the lettuce.
Lettuce grows. It's nutrientless, but you can eat it.
Well, it depends on the type of lettuce. Romanian's actually pretty good for you.
I'll tell you that Lindelof has already said that like every major question will be answered, but not every question will be answered.
Damn it.
Dude, the lettuce is there enough.
Some things are intended to be left mystery.
The lettuce will get answered.
Or the lettuce could just be a nod to the 7th Cavalry member in the first episode.
No, dude, it's gonna be like the final shot of the last episode. Watch, it's gonna reveal everything. Okay, so
so Frank is there. He sees Hooded Justice and goes, "Who the hell are you?"
Fred?
Yeah,
Fred. The racist guy?
Okay. Yeah, racist guy.
Big racist guy,
yeah. Big racist guy who owns the store because he owns Fred's. The store is named after him, and he's like, "Who the hell are you supposed to be?" Stare.
Oh yeah!
Breaks through the window in a really cool shot, and then it freezes.
So there's
very comic book.
So there is an account, obviously, of this attack at the grocery
store. This is,
but it's restructured as like 3 guys breaking in to rob the place, rather than even at all revealing the Ku Klux Klan connections.
Exactly.
Back.
And again, like bringing up the American hero story. This is a stick up from like episode 1 or 2, and it's just reframed like. Good stuff. This is a good show, you guys.
So, Hooded Justice is breaking out of the store through the glass, and this is where it freezes. And here we get Lori again.
And then, like, the colors popping in and out because, like, Angela's going crazy.
She's very, she's in black and white, but then her complexion is showing through a little bit. It's not, over blaringly. It's like...
and it's slow. Because what it is that she's in a coma, which we're told by Lori. And
they hit her with adrenaline.
It's her being like they hit her with adrenaline, and it's her like trying to wake up. And so they got the blinking happening to register that she can hear Lori
because she has her eyes.
Cal.
Her eyes are wide open,
and she's crying because like it's like
and we know it's her eyes in the hood. She doesn't have the makeup on. We see clearly it's her.
Yeah. And that was really cool.
And so Lori's like, "Hey, we're gonna try something. I got Cal. You know Cal, your hubby. I got Cal here." And he's like, "Cool. I gotta read this thing, honey. This is weird. My name's Calvin. We met in Vietnam. I love you a lot.
Your name is Angela Abar.
You got 3 kids. Please, baby, wake up." And then he just keeps repeating it, and it doesn't work.
It's like blink if you. It's the whole thing is blink if you understand, and she does blink.
And it's like so sad because she starts crying because she can't do anything, and then he just fades away, and she gets lost back into the memory.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you shouldn't have took all those drugs.
Yep.
She totally could have died here. Bad idea.
No, in the beginning of the episode, Lori does tell Angela, "You took a lethal dose of nostalgia."
Also, I didn't know that you need permission to do a stomach pump. Something I learned today.
Yeah.
Because your lady friend Fanny was like, "Why don't they just stomach pump her?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Bam! Sign this thing to release your stomach pump." Like, there you go. Yeah. I learned something. So she gets pulled back into the memory, and then is this where he just goes to the factory? As himself, or is it
no? This is. I want to say he's now Hooded Justice.
Oh my God!
This is where we meet
Captain Metropolis.
Exactly.
Of course, I forgot all about that.
Like some time has passed.
Yep.
We see more newspaper clippings of the Nazis and Hitler doing, and not only just that, but the Ku Klux Klan.
Hooded Justice has made a name for himself.
Yeah,
years
but
ago.
also we see Reeves with a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
He grew a mustache.
Yep,
And he has a son.
And he married June.
he did marry.
No,
June.
I want to say June. The son shows up later.
No, that when we flash forward to when he's meeting Captain Metropolis, the son has been born.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I remember her telling him he's pregnant after the scene with him and the judge.
Oh, you're right.
Metropolis and
yeah,
bed.
because yes, that makes
They're
sense.
married though.
Yes.
We do see a wedding ring.
Yes.
We see a wedding ring on Will.
And is it revealed later that she's the baby?
It's that scene.
Yeah.
It's the scene
It's
where
the
she.
same scene where
it's the
she
same
says
scene where
she's
she tells him
pregnant.
she's pregnant.
Okay. But
Which that was a good reveal.
yes. But yeah, they get a knock at the door. And Nelson Gardner walks in. Just this Aryan ass looking white dude with the perfect blonde hair. He's just like, "Hi there, my name's Nelson. I think you know a certain superhero, and we want to be friends with him."
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's like so phony.
He's like, I work for a certain individual named Captain Metropolis, and June already. She's like, is this Captain Metropolis blonde by any chance?
Does he look like you?
She's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
But Will is clearly into it.
Yeah.
Because he is a superhero and he wants to know other superheroes. So Nelson's like, why don't you just come to a meet and see how it goes? He passes him a card.
It's like, hey, have Hooded Justice call this, and then we'll set up with Captain Metropolis. And also one of the biggest things even about in the books that I liked was that they called their group the Minutemen.
Yep.
Another little history lesson.
History time, Ben.
I like that. Thank you.
Yes.
The Minutemen were essentially the first soldiers in the American Army before an American Army was actually established during the Revolution.
When the laws
when the United States were before the United States, when we were still the colonies, the Minutemen were formed as a way to fight against the British, and then eventually. Now, once again, my history is might be a little bit jumbled here, but the term Minutemen refers to the first warriors who fought for the United States of America, not for the Crown of England.
It was like a personal militia outside of the government.
Yes,
they were mercenaries basically.
Also the states were still colonies. They weren't officially the United States of America. Yes. They were they even had different currencies back. Like if you were in Georgia and you wanted to go to North Carolina, you had to change out your money for it. There wasn't.
You needed rupees.
You had to have a North Carolina dollar could be different from a Maryland dollar or a Delaware dollar. It was once again 1776. We didn't have this
standing up for themselves when the government or the police won't do it for you.
Yes,
that's
essentially the Minutemen.
But it turns out that these Minutemen are a bunch of phonies because they just want to get famous and rich because they don't actually want to solve any problems. Because Will wants to.
Hollis Mason. I mean, this is me going from the from the.
He's Captain Metropolis.
Yeah, Captain Metropolis, and even Dollar Bill. Like we see a Bond ad with Dollar Bill on it.
Yeah.
That is very uncomfortable.
Very racist. So much.
Very racist.
Yes.
But that's later. So after Nelson Gardner, after he leaves, we get one of my. This is a really good cut. I love this gag and other things. And it also does confirm one of the things from American Hero Story, which is where, because June obviously looks to Will and says no, and then it hard cuts to Nelson saying yes, but because they're having sexy time.
Yeah, so, Nelson passes him the card, like, hey, give us a call, and his finger touches Will's finger. And that's the second I knew, oh, they banging.
Yeah.
They banging. And then, one of you guys was like, I don't know, man, I'm not sure, and then it's hardcore sex happening. I'm like, nah, it's happening. But, it's going, baby.
But with the masks off and obviously identities revealed.
Yes, well, funny enough, this reminded me, you haven't seen the movie, it reminded me of Rocket Man. You know the manager in Rocket Man who was sleeping with Elton to just get famous and stuff? Yeah. It reminded me of that where Captain Metropolis clearly has love for Hooded Justice. He's the inspiration. He loves Hooded Justice as a superhero. And that, so he gets close to Will to get the Hooded Justice, basically.
Right.
Which is kind of sleazy, kind of gross.
Yeah.
But, Will's getting some companionship out of it.
Yeah.
Which is nice for him. Bad for he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably is the only time that he's ever slept with a man.
Yeah.
The way that the picture is painted, it seems that way.
Yeah. Especially later on down the line because... because later on, Will, when the Minutemen officially get formed, Will has a folder. After the scene with him and Nelson in bed, it's him and June in bed. June tells him that they're going to have a baby. And he's like, "Who, boy?" And then she's like, "Hey, tell me the story." And he retells her the story of how Tulsa was on fire. People were dying. His father put him away, and he found a baby wrapped in the American flag, which that baby turns out to be June, and they go to New York City together.
Oh,
right, and she reveals that she's pregnant at the end of that.
Yeah,
because she part of the story is that like, and then you stop crying, and she's like, and you never did make me cry after that, so keep not making me cry because I'm pregnant.
Yeah,
right.
And this is what I mean by him not being emotionally engaged, because he give anything over when he finds out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
He probably feels like trapped.
Yeah.
Like that's like
I'm sure that's part of it, but like the way that June interprets it is that because it's heavily implied, at least in what we see, that June has no idea about the homosexual relationship. Yeah. So that just leaves her to one conclusion: it's the rage.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's the rage that makes him distant.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
So
I remember, I don't know if this is the exact next scene, but like the Minutemen are having a meeting. Is that what you're talking about? And then like, and he's like, there's a conspiracy, and like there's an insidious plot. It's the same line from episode 1. And then Captain Metropolis like cuts him off, and he's like, yeah, except it's Moloch, and it's not anything racist. It's a Moloch, and it's imagined. Boo!
Like,
and I'm like, oh my god, you're such a phony.
So time goes by, obviously, and we see this montage of June and her baby. Like, we see her, like, pregnant when the baby is young, and so years have gone by. The Minutemen are now officially formed, and Will is still doing research on Cyclops. He has a bunch of different newspaper clippings, and he's trying to pinpoint, he has this in this one folder, and when they're trying to do this, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, someone says somewhere, I don't remember who it was, but someone says the line that, like, Hooded Justice legitimizes the Minutemen.
Yeah,
someone says that.
I
think so. Like, you legitimize this, and it is entirely like a celebrity grab.
100%. Yeah.
Because Will is trying to, like, hey, there is a plot to do stuff, for things to happen, and Captain Metropolis just cuts him off and says, yeah, buy bonds, because it's Moloch, we're gonna get him, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then we
save our boys.
And then we see the sign of Dollar Bill, essentially oppressing a black man, and of course we get this shot of Will, who still has the eye makeup, so people still think he's a white man, and he is just, you can tell he is beaten.
Yes.
He is just pissed.
Because at this point, so he tried to be a police officer, and that didn't work, right? So he became a vigilante, and then when he has like the Justice League with him now, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to stop the actual problems either. They're there to get rich and famous.
Which, one of the things I did like is that how only Captain Metropolis and Hooded Justice were the only ones in frame.
Yes.
The Minutemen are there, but they're all blurred.
And there is a picture online released by HBO of what those actors look like, and it looks real good.
Yeah.
It's very good. But yeah, where do we go from here?
I want to say we get to the movie theater.
Yeah, I think like after he was demoralized from the Bond thing, we see him spend more time as a cop. I think it's implied that he steps away from being Hooded Justice for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Because he feels like that isn't getting him anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then this awful thing happens at a movie theater. That's right.
Oh god.
I was kind of confused for a second, and then it started to make more sense.
So,
guys, remember Kingsman, the church scene?
I do.
Yeah, but in a movie theater with black people.
Yeah. Which, oh man, because
have all the entertainment strip, and it's like, oh, what if it really happened? Like, oh no.
No, even when he walks up to when he hears the sirens, he walks up. He's asking an officer what happened, and the officer says, "What else happens when you put a bunch of animals in a cage? Get in there. I need someone who talks their language."
Awful.
Horrible.
And again, Will doesn't do anything about it. He's just like, and he just walks in because he's like, that's his life now.
Yeah, but also you see black people being thrown into the back of cop cars for questioning. You see people screaming. They're bloodied. They're in pain. They're hurt.
It's horrible and it's racist.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it is putting out the point of, like, this is why they want that. Mm-hmm. Because it immediately says, like, look, this is exactly what they are. Mm-hmm. Violence without any restraint. Mm-hmm. So it's, of the time, like, it totally makes sense that a white officer who already doesn't like black people would be like, well, there you go.
My point
freaking go. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's like, yeah, that's exactly how they react. I mean, there's something horrific about just it itself. So it's like, I mean, the whole point is that if that were to happen on such a major scale, it would be too compelling of an argument against race.
Yeah. Like, he goes inside the movie theater. He talks to a woman, and
there's bodies everywhere, and there's like one lady crying.
Yeah, and the woman is telling the officer or is telling Will that they were watching the movie was fine, then all of a sudden she heard words that you need to hurt people. And she's like, I think I did. I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyways. And she's obviously in shock and she's crying. And we get some flashbacks to the first Cyclops safe house that Hood of Justice raided. Mm-hmm. We like the hypnotist book.
Yep.
And he starts thinking, and he's like, shit's going on. So he calls up. So after he talks to her, we get to him in a phone booth, and he's on the phone with Nelson. And he's telling us, like, hey, something's going on. And this is when, obviously, he doesn't give a shit about Nelson. Or Nelson doesn't give... He just... Like, when you were saying the celebrity grab, because Nelson says, Harlem is not the Minutemen's problem.
Yeah.
Or he says something to that effect.
You're going to have to resolve black unrest yourself.
Yeah. Which... So, this is something that they don't put in the movie, but Captain Metropolis is the one who puts the Crime Busters, which have Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan. He's the one who puts them together in Watchmen, the comic. And on the map that the comedian burns, Black Unrest is on the board of things that need to solve in America. So, like, this is something that Captain Metropolis has had on the mind for literally decades.
Oh, wow.
But that's just what he calls it, because, like, he doesn't know what else to call it. It's like, oh, Black Unrest.
Because I don't think he's, like, a racist person.
No, I think he's ignorant.
But I think he's a person who doesn't care to educate himself.
He just wants to be a superhero. Yeah.
He doesn't want to educate himself at all.
Wait, isn't that the Ozymandias? Didn't he have that map up?
No, but that's only in the movie. In the comic, Captain Metropolis is there talking as well. They're both there.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a long time. I have to look at
it's not really important that he's there.
Okay. Yeah.
Really all it is like if you take the comic as canon to this, it means that like some amount of this, because like obviously he and Will have a falling out after this.
Yeah.
That stays on his mind to some capacity.
Yeah. Because after Will is telling us like, hey, there's this warehouse. Oh, because after... Oh, crap, I can't believe I almost forgot this. So, he sees the one of the guys in the movie theater with a projector, take a projector into a car, and he sees the Cyclops.
Right, that's how he catches on to it, right?
That's how he catches on, and he follows him to this warehouse.
As an officer.
He follows him to a warehouse, calls up he's like, hey, get the Minutemen out here. And Nelson's like, no, that's not our problem. You have to solve it yourself. But why don't you come over? I'd love to see you. And he's like, mother effer!
Sex stuff.
Yeah. So he goes and follows them, and he runs into Fred again.
Yeah.
And Fred doesn't recognize him because all black people look alike to Fred.
Oh, so racist.
It's been long enough where Jesus, that's so baffled.
And not only that, he says,
I mean, like, I'm glad they went for that because I'm like, there's no way that Fred would remember his face all these years later. It's been years. There's no reason Fred would remember him. I'm sure he's given so many black people the shaft. Like,
here's the thing. He also is like, why don't you come in for a good cut of steaks? Right. He's like, I'm like, you racist. Oh, I know you're doing something shitty here.
Is this where he shoots Fred in the face?
Yep.
Yeah. It's
the moment when Fred's saying like, have I seen you before?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like all your whatever slur he uses, faces start to blend together, and then he's shot. Which I'm really happy about. Yeah, it's great because he tries to play his smooth act with him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't realize they've ever met before when he starts.
Yeah.
It's because he's a jerk.
He's like, I could probably pull some bullshit here because
I've
never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
He's got a mustache. I don't know any mustache, man. And then, dog's cool. The dog's making noises. Sorry. So yeah, he goes into the warehouse and he just starts capping fools. Just like, he's just killing every dude in there.
Which is a big deal because he hasn't killed up to this point.
Yeah, and he's
just
not,
like, he's done.
And he's not in his outfit.
No, he has his hood on though.
He puts a hood on.
That's right, sorry.
He puts a hood on.
Yeah.
He's still in his officer uniform.
Yeah.
He walks in, he sees a bunch of people in Klan outfits. I want to say one of them still has his officer uniform on underneath the Klan outfit. I don't know if this is now or if this was before, but eventually I do see a cop outfit underneath the Klan outfit.
Also,
and he is just like pop.
Yeah.
He is dropping fools left and right.
Pop.
Yep. He finds like the projector, like the schematics, like the special things.
And there's a whole bunch of projectors too.
Yeah, a whole
like they're
bunch
manufacturing
of them.
them.
And then he goes into his room with like the subliminal messaging of, you will not hurt another, of like the cop who hung him. Yeah. And he's saying into a microphone, you will not hurt any other black man or any other white person. Man. Thank you. You will not hurt a white man, woman, or child. You will only hurt black people. Black people are this. You need to destroy them. Something along that line.
And he was going to shoot him, but he's out of bullets.
Yep.
So he strangles him with the mic.
What of you guys, I want to say it was you, said, hang that effer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to
I
say it was you. You said
No, I think it was Ryan.
You're like, just kill him, and he chokes him out with with a wire.
I thought it would have been like it's cool that he killed him with like the wires that from his headset and stuff. Like I thought it would have been dope if he would have took his own noose off and like.
But he didn't have it in the moment.
But he didn't have the thing out there. I was like, that would have been sweet. Yeah.
I thought that too because it's like the noose that guy made, and he's hung by his own noose. That would have been poetic. Yeah. But I think like I bet they talked about it in the writers' room, and they went, it's just too coincidental for him to go there if he's not going as Hooded Justice for him to have the noose.
That's true. Yeah.
He'd have to be going as Hooded Justice.
So he then
takes a projector, stacks the bodies up, burns the thing to the ground.
And I'm pretty sure
keeps one.
I'm pretty sure
he keeps one. Yeah,
he keeps one projector. I'm pretty sure earlier in the episode there's a song playing that's called "I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire."
Yes. Yeah.
And then what does he do exactly at this moment? He sets the entire thing on fire. Yep. And there's a beautiful shot of the thing burning down, and he's just standing in front of it. And it's a shot of him in the mask and his eyes.
You know
like he's become like the thing he hates the most.
You know what that shot reminded me of a little bit? Just the aesthetic, not the meaning.
Yeah.
When Joker burns the pile of money in Dark Knight.
It looks that way, yes, but
it just aesthetically,
yes,
not
like the meaning behind it. Yes,
exactly.
Because I think here it's like he did some real gnarly shit, and yes, he killed racists, but like he went over a line I don't think he's ever wanted to do.
So right at the point where the projectors start showing up is when I started going, so what do you think that clock's for?
Yeah, so the projector's like projecting, and the guy's like, don't hurt white people, and Sparks goes, so what do you think the clock's for? And I didn't fully catch it. I thought he was just like saying something.
Yeah.
And then later on, what do you think the clock's for? Because it turns out that like
the Millennium Clock,
maybe this technology that the racist had, now he has. I'm like, that's shit, dog.
With Lady True?
With Lady True.
A Vietnam refugee?
Yes. Okay, so is this the end of?
No, we're not quite. We then jump forward.
Yes.
No, we're not there yet.
He goes home.
He goes back home with the projector. He sees his son.
His kid got the makeup.
His son is putting on the eye makeup with the noose around it, and of course,
I'm just like you, Dad.
This is the only interaction we ever see between him and his son.
Yeah, and I don't think it doesn't look forceful. Like it didn't look like he was trying to hurt him. He was just wiping the makeup off of him. It's like no, because obviously, his son's seen him put on Hood Justice. His son apparently can keep a really good secret, and he starts freaking out.
Well, because he just. As Hood Justice, he just murdered a bunch of people.
He murdered a bunch of people.
His son wants to be like him.
And he doesn't want his son... Yeah, exactly. And this is where I feel June sees, like, this is the slippery slope, which is where she takes him for... She's like, no, don't you dare.
Yep.
And eventually we get to the montage of June yelling at him and then saying, we're going to Tulsa. Because that's Will's whole thing. He does not want to go back to Tulsa. Because there was a conversation Will and June had prior where she's like... You have a right to be angry. You saw people get murdered. You saw your people shot all in the whole town. Why don't you want to go back? It's like, there's nothing for me back there. That town burned. Screw that town. Screw Tulsa. Tulsa sucks.
Do you know what I just remembered is the shot where the police officers are trying to get him into the car, and when they drive away, in color are the black people bodies being dragged down the street.
Oh my god,
that is some shit.
Yeah, which is pulled out of the 1920 memory.
Yeah. And like there'll be like one of the planes from the 1920s just flying over.
In full color, and also there are times his mom just playing the piano. Because also during the during the scene where he tells June about when he saved her. He was also telling her about Brass Reeves. No,
those are two separate scenes.
You're right.
But they do play the movie in that moment.
No, you're right. Brass Reeves.
That's an awesome scene.
The Brass Reeves talk was before after he tells her what happened when
right after the hanging,
the Hooded Justice Genesis.
They're just talking, and then like an actual projection movie starts playing behind them. I'm like, man, this is some good shit.
And that's
while he's narrating the story.
Yeah,
about it,
and he's like, there's this line is like, there will be no mob justice today. Trust in the law.
Yeah. Okay, so June leaves with the kiddo.
June leaves with the kid. She says, "Don't find us. Don't come after us. You're not gonna meet him ever. You're not gonna see him ever again." And then
is that when Angela wakes up?
No, that's when we go to the present when
Judd.
He killed.
Oh
Judd.
my god! Of course, the mind control stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is when it got like. Of course, this whole episode's been interesting, but like we finally got to hear.
Yeah.
And we get to see the murder of Judd, and it turns out he didn't kill Judd. Judd killed Judd.
Under hypnotism.
Under hypnotism, he got mesmerized.
And we got confirmation the Ku Klux Klan outfit is his grandfather's.
Yeah. And it does, and with what we learned about Joe Keane Jr. working with 7th Cavalry and Judd working with the cops, I do think now Judd was not a racist. Although, the way he said, I'm just trying to help your people, to Will, sounded a little racist.
I think that it's, like I said earlier, I think in one of the episodes we were talking about, it's very hard, I believe, to grow up in a place like that.
Yeah.
Where that is such a perpetuated belief system and not have some amount of that language seep its way in, even if you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
So you can't help but like think of terms like that. There's, no matter how hard you try, you can't get away from like
and also
ingrained ideas.
Yeah. And also Judd is older. He's an older gentleman, so he's not like Angela, and obviously he's not like Topher.
Yeah.
Whereas that part of language is gonna get phased out.
Now,
since he's older,
could he also have been saying your people meaning vigilantes?
No,
no,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's entirely meant to be black people.
Okay.
But I think Judd is a person who I feel has been born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and his family has been there a long time. And it's implied that his grandfather at least had a belief system that he doesn't seem to agree with. He refers to it as his legacy, but it doesn't seem in a positive way.
Yeah. Right. I grew up in the South. I grew up with racists, but I'm not racist. So like I see what you but he never left that environment. Yeah. So that mentality has been around him his whole life. He never stepped out of it. Yeah.
So I can see how like slip-ups in terms like that
makes sense.
Definitely happen.
Yeah.
But it's not intended in an ill-meaning way. He does say like, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
Like saying your people isn't great.
Yeah.
But the intent behind it isn't negative connotation.
I also think like he's probably scared, so like it also could be just like he's saying something and not meaning to say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter what if he's a racist or not, because Will is convinced that Judd's a bad dude.
Yeah.
And maybe he still knows more information than we do. And
I think Judd implies that Will definitely doesn't know everything.
That's true, yeah.
He does. He does.
And
I
believe
you still don't know everything, and then he's like, he takes the flashlight, the hypno flashlight, and says, hang yourself. And Judd hangs himself.
And the like when he turns on a certain mode, it's a projector light.
He says he says something. He says something specific before he says you can hang yourself now. He accuses Judd of something.
Oh.
I just don't remember what the exact terms were.
I forgot.
But he does accuse Judd of like, no, you're this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he does do the Cyclops symbol.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you are. You're right. He does the Cyclops symbol to him, and I'm like, I don't think Judd is.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Will's wrong.
I think Will is wrong.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because Judd winds up hanging himself.
Because I think whatever the plot is with Lady True and 7th Cavalry, it would have played out anyway, but bringing all the FBI to Tulsa is going to interfere with whatever the plan is now that Judd is dead. Yeah. Judd's death is like the nail and like, oh, this is going to mess our plan up, so they got to like smooth things over.
Yeah, again, I think that Lady True didn't want, like she kind of implies in the conversation with Will that she did not want him to go about it this way, and he's like, you don't understand, she's not going to just listen to me.
Yeah.
She has to be shown. Mm-hmm. But Lady True isn't a fan of the way he went about it. I don't think he consulted on his plan. He went alone. He did this by himself.
Yeah.
Interesting that he stays in the chair the entire time.
Yeah. Well, I guess... I guess I had no reason for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it could just be like he knew that that's how he wanted Angela to see him.
Yes.
So he just stayed in it. Precaution. But like,
precaution.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely feel like Judd is
good.
Good.
Yes.
He was trying to do something good. He was trying to make up for bad family history. Mm-hmm. That's where I've been sitting for a while. That's where I'm going to continue to sit at this moment. Because I don't think any information we were given contradicted that. I think it supported it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the... Unless
Judd's lying in that moment, but I don't think he is. I think Will's mistaken.
I think in like the moments of like he doesn't know he's going to die, but in the moments of being scared, like he wouldn't lie like that. Like that seemed pretty...
Yeah.
He seemed genuine.
Well, and it's also like because he's freed from the mind control, but for like the first moment when they're talking, he's still under it. Then he's released.
Yeah.
So it's it's a bummer because I feel like if he'd been kept under the mind control, that could have been like some kind of truth thing, and it's like, Will, you could have just gotten your answers right there.
Also, maybe Will doesn't even care.
Yeah,
I think he was dead set.
I don't think Will's cared
for a long time.
Yeah.
Since he killed a bunch of people in a room over projectors.
Yeah. So he has the mesmerizing device.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what that clock is for.
So
I see a lot of theories online now.
So I'm pretty sure that Lady True wants all the white people dead.
So here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be that severe. I think because, and I now remember this, that we bring it up, Peteypedia taught me that Lady True has given out HD TVs to almost all of Tulsa's population for free, meaning they can get a signal from something, right? So I don't think they would want to kill white people, all white people, because there are some innocent white people. And I don't think that's a message that this show would want to send out either.
Sure.
But I do think that they might be able to try to impose trauma on the white people to let them experience racism. Something more emotional than actual like physical.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of getting stabbed, so you know what it feels like. Something like that. So
Like
they'll impose like
this
maybe
is the feeling of getting lynched, or the feeling of.
I mean,
something
that does play into everything that we've had in the show up to this point, which is Lady True talking to her daughter and saying, "You got to remember what it feels like."
Nostalgia being brought up again.
Nostalgia being brought up, and Angela living through the hanging.
Yeah.
And how much that affected her.
Yes.
That is the longest time we see her in the flashback,
So-
because that is something that shakes you.
I think it is going to be something where like we're going to try.
That's a good point.
We're going to try to end racism.
We're going to try and cure racism.
We're going to cure racism.
Because I know I'm jumping ahead a tiny bit, because in the next episode of Watchmen preview, Lady True does say, "I have a plan to save the world," and it starts in Tulsa.
Yep.
So it could be that
one
she's
of the most racist places in the world.
Yeah. So it could be that she's trying to, like, maybe the clock is to send out a signal to inflict a bunch of, like, hey, this is what happens when you oppress people, so don't frickin' do that.
Basically, like digital nostalgia.
Kinda.
Like, it's going to be a digital nostalgia that makes all of white people experience what it's like to go through racism.
Right, an attempt to make you live your life in another person's shoes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is baller. That is
is.
crazy. And I think that is so much more impactful than just killing a bunch of people.
I agree.
Too.
I hope that is it.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty sound plan.
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement that the target is white people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now the thing. So what's Joe Keane in the 7th Cavalry got to do with it then?
That's
what I'm confused about.
I stand by that. I do not believe that the 7th Cavalry is necessarily in league with Lady True.
Even though they had the box in the truck, Lady True box.
Right, yeah.
And they have a portal.
Right.
How did I get a portal?
No, what I mean is, like, I don't think that the 7th Cavalry is in league with Lady True's, like, that they know what her intended idea is.
Oh, she's using them.
Right.
Okay.
There is a disconnect of, like, end goal.
Here,
Not that there is zero connection.
She is the Ozymandias, and then 7th Cavalry are all those artists that she hires that she's going to kill at the end.
Uh-huh.
And she's probably going to kill them anyway because they're all horrible people. This is starting to make a lot more sense. This is great.
Yeah.
No Ozzy this episode, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But next episode...
But even without Ozzy, this episode is probably my favorite episode.
Yeah, this was a...
Just the way they shot it, just the way the actors, just everything about this episode was... The whole time I'm sitting there going like, yeah, just throw this in front of those people who say comic book stuff isn't art.
Now, Joe King Jr., his whole thing is that he's trying to control the narrative of the racism in Tulsa. So if he is in league with Lady True, he might know what that end goal is. He might be for it, because if it works, he can say, look what we did together. We cured racism, everyone.
That's true, yeah.
So he's playing both.
If the experiment works...
He's playing both sides,
He gets to do that. Well, that's what he's been doing the whole time. That's what he says to Wade.
Yeah.
Is that the 7th Cavalry existed before him.
Yeah, and he came
in after the White Knight, and he said, I came in to keep things tame.
So this doesn't happen again.
And under control. So it's more targeted and direct rather than just chaos.
Yeah, and
that's
then
what he did.
Judd would be there to counter it. It's a balance of light and dark, basically.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing that I don't think you really need, but like,
right.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Again, that's more Metal Gear. It's like we'll
see how that actually ends up, but yeah.
So did we talk about the end of the episode yet?
No.
When
she wakes
up.
Yeah, it's short. Yeah.
Yeah, she wakes up. She's not in the hospital. She's not in a jail cell. She's
at Lady True's place.
She has a thing attached to her arm.
Yep.
And
I think it's a dialysis machine.
Yeah. Or something to help her with her stomach or the drugs.
Yeah.
And she looks up, and there's Lady True, and she goes, "Oh, you're finally awake." And then end. I want to say that's where it ends.
Somebody posited, and I don't think this is true, that she might still be in a memory because this might be when Will's meeting her for the first time, and I don't buy that at all. I think this is her waking up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're gonna do like another memory thing in the next episode.
Well, even when Will was hanging Judd, it was in black and white.
Yeah.
And that happened, and that happened like.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy it, because it's all in full color too and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
And I do think like whatever like machine was helping her get rid of it, like she's now woken up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she is in the potentially the Millennium Clock, which means the FBI gave her up.
However, no, she could have been abducted. Lady True.
Lady True.
We have to assume she has resources to do anything.
That's
she
true.
pulled Will out with a magnet.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know that the nostalgia is necessarily out of her system, because we know we're seeing flashbacks to her time in Vietnam in the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not saying she's still living
right.
in Will's memories, but I am saying that I don't know that everything's out of her system.
Okay, yeah.
It's getting there. She's not in danger of dying.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Lady True is like, all right, I'm going to make sure you're not going to die.
Oh my god. There's going to be some... I can't wait for next episode, because there's probably going to be like Lady True in Vietnam stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, their stories are going to coincide without knowing it. Ooh.
I'm very interested in like why Angela ends up back in Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was born in Vietnam. We've been told this.
Yes.
But obviously her father was in Tulsa at some point before Vietnam.
Yeah.
So interesting why she ends up back there.
Yeah. And we only have 3 more episodes too, so
and we get Ozzy. We get the trial of Ozymandias.
And we get the stupid white
the
hair.
keyboard in Victorian era judge wig.
I'm so happy.
Way back when there was an episode that was titled about the Comanche horsemanship.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And had
Marshall,
the painting.
Yeah.
Joe King Jr. was at the house when that scene was happening. Joe King Jr. I think is using that tactic specifically with the 7th Cavalry. They're the horse taking the shots for him.
Smart. That's smart. Look at that.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly what they're going for with that horse
thing. We are trying to bring all...
And that would be Judd, too.
Well,
Judd would also be...
Again, it's like the horses were used as shields.
Yeah.
So, like, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
he's using 7th Cavalry
and
as a shield.
Judd would have been the other person who had the painting in his house, who would have been the other person doing the same tactic with Joe King Jr.
It's still... I still find it so odd that, like, why would you want to keep a Ku Klux Klan outfit? Like, I understand, like, wanting to, like...
I think if the implication is correct in like the idea that when he says the word legacy, it's a negative connotation. It's like
a reminder.
I need to care. It's a burden.
Yeah,
it's a burden I need to make up for.
Yeah, didn't you say something about white guilt?
It's atonement.
Yeah,
yes.
White guilt in our earlier episodes.
Just don't have it right in your main closet. Is what I'm saying.
I think like. I mean, like it's a weird way, but like I would chalk all that up to like ultimately. It's to leave the idea of the mystery of what side is Judd on.
Yeah.
But
I
mean, like from a writing standpoint. But I think like if you were to try to break it down to a character thing, it's like it really depends how pervasive that presence was in his life. Growing up.
He really wants to be reminded.
If he was, we don't know Judd's full history. So if he was raised like groomed by his grandfather or father, but specifically grandfather, because that's who Robin is, to be of that same ilk, of that same mindset, and then the grandfather died and he turned so far against it, that would be something that like you'd kind of aim at to work against and have a present reminder. This is something we'd see in comic books a lot, where it's that kind of like figure that has passed on that put something so bad, and you kind of leave this shrine of memorial to this thing I need to beat.
Like we see it in not just comic books but also in literature. Like I have that one thing that destroyed me, so I use it to like. Because of this one thing, I use it to say that that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Like maybe like the gun that killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Or just I know there's other instances.
So Superman. So the implication is that I say that word a lot. The implication is that Judd is trying to do something good for everyone, but there's sacrifices he's making along the way of other people. Mm-hmm. Looking at that reminds him of what these sacrifices are trying to achieve.
That makes sense, yeah.
I think that's what's going on, but I'm sure we'll get further clarification on exactly where Judd stood as we go. But I think that's what it is right now.
That makes sense.
But this show's dope.
Yeah, this was, like, a lot of people, including me, were like, oh, so this is their Emmy nomination episode, correct? Everyone's like, just give it to them. Yeah, they got it. Yeah. I say it every week, but like I'm so happy that we can have like such a politically charged show that's also a sequel to a comic book.
Yeah,
it's good job HBO, good job Damon Lindelof.
Yeah, incredible.
I hope there's more seasons. I don't care. Just make a whole Minutemen season. I don't give a shit.
I think this is the best thing Lindelof's ever done.
And
I know I haven't seen everything he's done, but I think this is...
Remind me what else he's done again?
He's done The Leftovers. He's done Lost. He's written a lot of bad things that got turned into bad things.
Okay.
He's one of those guys.
And I mean, like, he doesn't deserve sole credit. Like, there's a whole writer's room of people working on this, he gives them due credit when he's talking on the podcast. He said that, like... he specifically, I thought this was interesting, he brought up that, like, when he was writing Lost, he was working through a whole lot of contentious issues with his father, who had recently passed on. And so there's a whole lot of daddy issues.
Oh, that makes a whole lot more... I didn't know that. That makes more sense now.
But when they were getting to this, so they were talking specifically about how Episode 4 relates through Lori, Lady True, and Angela about issues of motherhood. And he's like, it's not something that I've ever thought about because my mother was a saint. So I've never thought about, like, mining that kind of material, but there's a lot of female voices in our writer room, and they started really digging into that stuff, and I realized that was a gold mine of character development, and I think that's really cool that he just, like, acknowledged that, like, I have this preconception about, like, family relationships that's really tied up in my issues with my father, so I didn't even think about the motherhood angle. So all props to, like, all the writers in that writer room, but specifically the female writers for, like, working these angles that he'd never thought of.
You need
different perspectives. It's awesome that he acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I agree.
So a lot of incredible people doing the show, but this show is just so good.
Oh, yeah.
PDP fact number 2 or 3, I don't remember. Nelson Gardner, even though they might have had a split, Nelson left his will to Will.
Yeah.
He left
his
entire
estate.
He left
all
his estate.
All of his stuff.
And in doing so, on PDP, it says that Will purchased or was given a movie theater where he tested, like, it's basically implied that he tested his projection stuff there, where he got to turn it into his little handheld device. So he's been potentially binding people for a long time.
Probably the bridge between him and Lady True.
Yeah,
is that
because I bet they somehow found each other and like you got this good technology, I got money,
right?
I'll help you solve racism.
yeah,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't. Oh my god,
that's really cool, and it also implies this idea of, like, Nelson Gardner carrying, again, that kind of, in a sense, white guilt for how he'd handled the situation. Like, he'd ignored the black issues that were going on. He'd ignored Will when he needed his help with those things, and it drove their relationship to shambles. Like, it implies that same kind of idea of guilt.
Yeah,
I do believe that Nelson does think he's beautiful, though.
Oh yeah, I believe that too. Again, like, I don't think Nelson's at all racist. I think I just think he made choices that kept him from ever educating himself further on anything that Will cared about, and he completely dissociated. And I think that fact about the will being left for Will kind of leads to that idea that there was a deeper connection that he realizes he lost because he didn't put in the effort.
Yeah, and now that we know,
much like Will didn't put in the effort with June.
Now that we know he has all this money, that might be an easier way to him to connect to Lady True as well.
Yes.
Rich people find each other in these kind of ways.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So the next episode, you get what you want.
My judge, my games warden judge with the, what are they called? Like
they're just
Victorian-esque wigs.
Victorian powdered wigs.
It's like George Washington is on trial,
which they still use.
Yeah. Oh, over there. Other side of the country. Yeah. Other world. Yeah.
Other side of the pond.
Of the pond. All the words. Amelia Pond. Doctor Who.
I love that Ozzy's back in his outfit.
I do too. He's on trial in his outfit.
Incredible.
I know we speculated last week, so I won't do any more here because, like, we haven't gained any more information. But I really am super curious, like, just what's going on with this guy. Do you think the thing that fell from the sky is Ozymandias? On this Clark's farm?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
And I'll also say that Lindelof said we're not going to find out what it is until the last episode.
What if it's Ozzy in the last episode?
Then that would be...
It's possible.
I just don't know what else it could be that's important. That would be something from space.
No, because she says it's mine.
Yeah, and she owns his company. Oh, we'll find out soon.
Yeah, she owns the company. She doesn't own him.
No, I know, but, like, what?
I'm curious because I'm like, when is Dr. Manhattan showing up? Because
that last episode.
It's just around the corner,
yeah,
man.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be the last episode.
I wonder because, like, you can't play too heavy-handed with the last episode because they intend to have it as a
standalone
and a closed off loop. Even though like there can be another season, like the main things happening here have to end. So I'm like, you can't play too many cards on that last episode.
I do remember from the trailer. There's a scene where Dr. Manhattan, he picks up a mask of himself.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Dr. Manhattan like festival.
Right.
And so I don't think we've seen anything like that in the next episode, like, or at least nothing hinted. So it's probably episode 8 or 9, right? Because we only have 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
And they honestly probably...
If I had to make a guess, I feel like he shows up in episode 8, like near the end of it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play a large role in this at all.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I
he shows up for like, hey, what's up?
It's smarter not to have him. However, like you have to have a purpose for having him, or you wouldn't have him at all.
Yes.
So I'm interested what that purpose will be.
What if he also shows up at the trial of Ozymandias? Because in one of the trailers where we did see a blue hand, Dr. Manhattan's hand, it looked like he was in a courtroom.
When was this?
This was one of the very first.
This was the trailer that was like this season on Watchmen that you and I didn't watch, but Ben did.
Oh, okay. All right, there might be some. He shows up in a suit.
It could be he shows up for Ozzy, because remember he could literally be in 2 places at once. He's
what if he's his lawyer? Oh boy.
So who knows?
That'd be funny.
Because I was thinking especially for Dr. Manhattan, we get him in the last 2 episodes, but in episode 7. He shows up at the end as like the draw is like here's Manhattan. He's gonna be a major focus in episode 8, and then episode 9 everything wraps together.
I can see that. Yeah. Too early to tell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, I thought about this episode for the last couple of days. I thought it was real good. I found a lot of great gifs. Man, just the images of like Angela walking through a door, pushing the door open, and then Will walks out and it's like, I love movies.
Yeah.
Cinema's great.
Yeah.
This was like a really good issue of a comic book. Like the transitions, like this was like so comic book inspired, man. I love it. I hope you guys love it too.
And notably, we didn't bring it up in our discussion here, but like this is the one episode where there was no Ozzy stuff. Obviously, there wasn't room for it, which is great. It shouldn't have had it, but it is the only episode where that has happened so far.
Yeah.
And once again, this is that type of episode where I didn't need Ozzy stuff in this because
no, of course
we were so focused on Will's history of him becoming Hood of Justice, him
fighting.
And it's also important.
So insane that they have retroactively changed the history of a character that has been in that comic for so long.
Yeah. I am going to...
And like this is obviously not Alan Moore's vision, but man, is it cool how well it fits in.
It is, but also the thing is like that character was like written to be mysterious from the get-go.
No, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I mean. Is like
he left it open.
Alan Moore didn't like. Even if he had like some inkling of this idea, let's bend it that far, he did not specifically have this idea in mind. And what an enriched history they've been able to add. That doesn't discredit anything from the original comic, but only adds to it and plays more. That's crazy. That almost never works out this way.
I feel like that's what these type of shows need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Hood of Justice is one of those things from the original Minutemen that was very mysterious. Even when I mean, we don't like to talk about it much, and it's technically not canon anymore. Before Watchmen, that series, the Minutemen book series of that, like especially the first 2 issues that I did buy, I really liked it because Hood of Justice was still very mysterious. No one knew who Hood of Justice was. He didn't even have eyes in what I remember. Like the first cover with him was just the classic Batman white slits that you see. No eyes, no pupils, no nothing. It was just a blackened hood, and no one knew who he was underneath it.
I am Justice.
So for them, for Damon Lindelof, for all the team and the whole crew for the show to pull that from Watchmen is like, let's bend it in this way that it still makes sense in the original book. It's just fan-friggin-tastic.
There's just so much craft and love, and like we don't wanna like take away anything from the comic, but we solely want to add to it.
Yeah.
But not nothing that doesn't make any sense. And it's not like you can do this with the comedian. Like the comedian's like a white dude. Like it makes sense for like this hooded justice mysterious character who people don't know anything about. You can do whatever you want with, and you can add this insanely weird political racist story to it. And I'm like, man, this show is wild. It's so good. Stop saying Watchmen is
It still boggles my mind that people are saying this show is terrible and does a disservice to the comic book.
Real quick,
it boggles my mind.
I'm glad I don't remember the kid's name because I don't want to like be mean to a kid on Twitter. But he was there was a picture release of the Minutemen from this episode of Watchmen, right?
The black and white photo.
Black and white photo that I sent you guys. Yeah, and the comedian is a teenager in the photo because he's 16 in the Minutemen, and so is Silk Spectre.
Actually, he's 18.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I remember. Oh, okay.
Because I just looked it up.
It could be no. I was going from damn it. I was going from before Watchmen.
It's okay.
Never mind.
It's okay, but no worries.
Forget I said that.
It doesn't matter. 16, 18. They're teenagers. The comedian's young, but the kid was like, "Why does a comedian look so young?" And then, but people are like, "Oh, because he is young." Blah 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 blah. And then he's like, "Oh, I guess I don't remember Watchmen as well as I don't remember being so mature." And I'm like, "Because the comedian raped Silk Spectre." And he's like, "I don't remember Watchmen being so mature." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Rorschach's talking about whores and politicians." And I'm like, sometimes I don't think people actually read this comic, I swear. I think they're fakers.
Who knows? They probably just went off the movie.
That's even... I know. That's a different topic.
I know.
That's a whole other bag of beans.
Oh, you're going to hate what I have to say to you off camera.
Bag of beans?
Oh, no. It's something different.
You've read the comic.
I do also think that, like, Watchmen is such a dense piece of material that, like, if you read it too early, too young,
if you read it young,
you didn't take in everything, you're not, and you read it that one time, you're not going to retain it.
No, not at all.
It is a book you have to revisit.
Don't read it when you're 12.
And you have to think about it more. Yeah. Or if you do read it when you're 12, that's fine.
Yes.
But go back.
Yeah,
I read
because a lot of it's going to go over your head. You're going to focus on the wrong things.
I read Watchmen when I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and I only read it because I was looking forward to the movie, and I made sure I finished the book before I saw the movie, and I'm like, man, this book is really good. But of course, I'm a doughy-eyed just starting into really getting into comic books 18-year-old who doesn't give a shit about politics. So all the political hardcore stuff, whoop,
yeah,
right,
which is fair.
And Watchmen is like the go-to book of like comics as literature, classes in college and everything, which is like, it's fair. There's a lot that you have to dig into there. So like, if you're a person who read it before you really could think about everything, then obviously it needs a revisit. Like, I totally understand how if you read it once a long time ago, especially when you were young, that's your mindset. Like, you're like, oh, I forget that it was like this. And it's like, oh, no, dude, you got to go back.
Yeah, I definitely
you got to really look at what's up there.
I definitely need to go back.
This is also probably a person who didn't read a lot of the ancillaries.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No offense, but probably.
Yeah.
Probably, like, not there to read the text pages, there to read the comic.
I am there. That's why I love Jonathan Hickman comics, because I am there to read the text.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm really excited for next week. I think we've gone pretty long on this one, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Let's do it!
We're all members of the Fake Nerd podcast. This is coming out on Thanksgiving week. This is actually probably dropping just before Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is the only thing we'll be dropping this week.
Yeah.
Because until like the very end of the week and into that, because we're not going to have a new Basement Arcade this week.
No.
Due to the holidays. You can check out our most recent episodes of this, of our Mandalorian Fake Nerds Watch, of our previous Basement Arcade episodes, of our regular podcast episodes, which are catching up. We do that with our friend Brandon T. McClure. You can find us for Fake Nerd Podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, on Instagram, on all the social media platforms.
Just look up Fake Nerd Podcast on socials, you'll find us.
I am Sparks Witty. You can find me at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty. Ryan?
I am DJ Tony Snark. DJ Tony Snark. I was going to spell it. Like, I don't want to commit to the joke. Do we want to say we're going to do something you should check out soon, that we're doing soon on this thing? The thing that we're doing later this week?
Yeah. On the thing? No, I get you. Ben, why don't you say where we're from, and then I'll pull that.
Yeah, you can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27 on both Instagram and Twitter.
Alright, so, later this weekend we are recording with our friends from the Downright Nerdy podcast, which are an awesome bunch of people, a couple of people who are doing incredibly fun stuff, and they're coming down to be part of our Star Wars retrospective episode, which is really, really cool. It is going to be a dual video and audio episode.
Dual the fakes, you could say.
We will be dropping that whenever that is finished being edited.
Yeah.
It's being recorded this Saturday, and then it'll take a little bit of time to piece everything together, because it's going to be a pretty big episode.
Yeah, because, once again, schedules.
We're going to talk about all the Star Wars.
All of it.
We're watching all the Star Wars.
Yeah,
trying to watch all the Star Wars.
So look for that here in the very near future.
In a galaxy pretty close.
And obviously check out the Downright Nerdy podcast.
Yes, definitely.
I think that'll do it then. Until next time, stay fake nerds.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Nope, I'm gonna do that again.
Sure.
I don't know why. Okay. Okay, sorry.
Should just be like, hey guys, are you feeling nostalgic? Are you feeling nostalgic?
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys want to take some nostalgia?
Ooh. Oh, I had
I'll put a little black and white filter on the opening of this.
I had something.
Go for it, Ben.
Oh,
yeah,
go for it?
please. Yeah, I'm passing it to you.
All right.
Passing the savings on to you.
All right. What are you fucking Geico now?
Yes.